One of my good buddies, Kyle, scaled his SaaS agency with GoHighLevel to $8,000 in monthly recurring revenue while working a full-time job. In this video, he's going to be sharing with us his story and explaining to us exactly how he did it.
Robot and IMAPs. Like these theoretically were like found some dude on TikTok and now you're gonna create a new business and like what are we doing here? And I'm just like, babe, trust the process. And she's believed in me since the beginning, but it's just funny, like, but to her credit, I've had a lot of these ideas. So like, and none of them have come to fruition, but these have. So these are my wins. And I'm like, babe, you remember that? You remember that conversation? Let's trust the process.
That's a good segue into this call. What are some like what's your background, I guess, with I don't think I've ever talked to you about it. Like have you tried some other business models in the past? What did you do for
Mhm.
work? What do you currently do for work? Just give us like a little bit of background on your story, I guess, over the past, I don't know, 10 years, 5 years, however long your story you feel like when it started.
Yeah, so I've been in sales since I was like officially 17, but I've been in entrepreneurship since I was 13. I lived in Wisconsin at the time, and I uh, I started like a lawn business and snow removal business called Rent a Kid. And at the time, it was a funny name. Like you could have that as a kid, being the kid that was rented. But my mom was like, "This is nothing that could ever be LLC'd." So that's where the entrepreneurial started for me. But I moved to Florida when I was 17, and I've been boots on the ground ever since, just learning different things about sales. My first job was Kirby vacuum cleaners, door to door, selling a $2,500 vacuum cleaner to people that couldn't afford it. But
How
I mean,
was
hey,
like how easy was that or how hard was that? Like, could you sell them?
it was a grind. I did it for 9 months and I did sell them. I was fairly decent at it. I won't say I'm top sales or anything like that because it's just incredibly challenging. It just depends on knowledge, credit, because those people you can finance the vacuum cleaners. I never thought I'd be able to sell a vacuum cleaner and be able to finance it. But just like, I mean, you can finance it for 5 years. Like it's crazy. They're like closer
Wow.
to 4 grand now. I mean, they're an amazing vacuum cleaner. Like I still believe in it. And anybody you talk to about a Kirby, they're like, oh yeah, I've had my Kirby for 30 years. Like, how long can you say you had your Bissell? I left
Would
that at the place I just moved because I can buy
would you
another one for
like would you haul around the vacuum with you, like do demos and stuff with it?
we had like brand new ones in the box. So every time we go to a new house, we would take it out of the box brand new. And like the spiel was we would get in the house and be like, hey, we'll give you a free carpet cleaning. So because essentially a Kirby, it sucks to the floor and then it vibrates the floor and then it sucks out. So it's really powerful vacuum cleaner. And then due to that and all the components in it, like the one that I sold was like really heavy. I don't know if they're still heavy, but it was also self-propelled. So like you never wanted to pick the sucker up, but they made it self-propelled. That way it was easy to go along. So it was like a push mower, like a self-propelled push mower. So it was pretty cool the technology they had into it in a $2,500 vacuum cleaner. But I mean, hey, you should expect some technology from a $2,500 vacuum cleaner. So yeah, it was pretty crazy. So I sold those. You remember the balance bands? Where like you
Yep.
go to the mall and they'd be like, "Hey, put your arms out, push down on one arm." I sold those. I call them. I hawked them in the mall. I worked for we had these. You ever walk to the mall and there's like these family photos, like this dude's like, hey, pay $20 and you can secure your spot and then pay $15 photographer and you get green screen for photos. I
Yep.
did that. I did that while doing the balance bands in the same mall. And then I worked for K Jewelers. I worked for Verizon Authorized. I worked for AT&T. I've sold pens. I mean, just like you name it, I've sold it. Like, and a
Wow.
lot of it door to door. It's just like selling's just been in the nature. And then, as you get better and better with sales, it's always about finding the newest thing and selling it, to be able to get that commission. So that's uh that's what kind of that's another thing that really drove the entrepreneurial sport or spirit. And then knowing that, eventually I don't want to have to sell for somebody else. I'd like to sell for myself, and keep that revenue and build my own brand. And I've tried Shopify, I've tried Amazon FBA, I've done the books. There was a guy on TikTok, and I think I met him maybe like 5 or 6 months before I met you, and he would just go to like the Goodwills or thrift stores or other Amazon, and there's like ranking tools where you can actually find these books that are high value, or literally you pick a book up for $5 and you sell it on Amazon for 25. You just made $20, less Amazon fees, but like there's still a huge profit in it, and people are making hand over fist on it. So
Wow.
my buddy owned an auction house, and he picked up at an auction. There's like three massive crates of books like filled to the gills. Like these things are like 4 foot tall. Like it was so many books. It was ridiculous. So we kind of went into business together with that, and we settled out like a little bit of his auction house, built tables, did the weights, got all the packaging stuff, bought scanners. Dude, it was so time consuming. Like physical labor too, like because you had all these books and you're fumbling through, and you got big tarps on the floor trying to figure out like what do you do with all these books? Like these are the bad ones, these are the good ones, and the good ones are like a stack this big, and the bad ones are literally the rest of the room. So it's like, what do I do with all these books now? You know? So we would donate some books or we just sell them off as like packages and whatnot. But like it's just crazy. So we were like, yeah, that's just too much. So we donated all the books and you're like, yeah, have fun with that. Just so you know, you potentially can make some money. And we told the people that, and they're like, oh yeah, we'll give this a try. So yeah, so pass on that one. Uh, and then the next venture, along with all of this stuff, like a big passion of mine is racquetball. I love playing racquetball. I've been playing racquetball like for 10 years. So like through all of my sales stuff, that's how I felt I stayed young. So I had a goal to go, play on the tour. Like I'd really love to go pro. I'd love to play for Team USA. Like it would just be an amazing feat. And at my age, like I have limited options to be able to get into anything that's relatively Olympic. So, and there is still an opportunity for me to go. It just depends on how hard I want to work. And it is still a goal of mine. But last year, I kind of had a big setback because I tore my ACL in a tournament, which at that point I was elevating my skill. I had a coach for the first time. Like I was so serious about it. And I went to a tournament like here in Ocala that was supposed to essentially tell me where I was in my skill level and training and whatnot for the next huge tournament that was going to be a qualifier out in Denver. And that was a world's tournament. So I was going to see all the pros and be able to interact with all the racquetball people in the world. And it was just going to be so big. And I just really wanted to show up in my division and walk away with a gold medal with all these, pros around me. It would have been so awesome. Now, I wasn't playing the pros, or I wouldn't have been playing the pros. I would have just won my respectable division. And yeah, the tournament that I played here 4 weeks before that one is where I tore my ACL. The crazy thing was I was definitely on the right track in my division because so we played 2 games to 15, and if there's a tiebreaker, it goes to 11. The first game was 15-0. So I gave that guy a donut. I was
Oh.
like, I was serious. I was very, very serious. And I was 2 points into the second game. I think it was 2-1, so he did get 1 point in the second game, but we were 2 points into the second game, and I jumped to avoid a ball that he was hitting under me. And so like he was behind me, but the ball was going to go under, so he jumped to get out of the way. And when I came back down, I was already preparing for the pivot to be able to go get the ball. And when I landed, the bottom part of my leg went one way and my knee went the other, and there was a pop, and I went straight to the ground like a sack of potatoes. So
Mm.
it was pretty crazy. I walked with assistance out of it, but once I laid down and put some ice on it, I was very emotional because like I felt my dreams were crashing and I didn't know what happened, whether it was like a dislocation or it could have been something worse, a broken leg. I didn't know. So when I got to the hospital, they told me it was ACL and told me how long it was going to be to recover after surgery. So like even now, it's been July 15th will be a year since my ACL was torn. And then I had surgery in September, so I'm like 9 months post-op. So like right around now is when I should be at like 80%. And I'm like right under there. It's really crazy. Like when you have a surgery on your knee and you lose all of your muscle. They are not lying when they say you lose all of your muscle. Basic movements are not the same anymore. Not until you get your muscle back up to it. And I'm at like 80%. And it's hard. It's hard. Like I've been back in that same court that I tore my ACL, and it was very, very emotional. And it was honest to God, it was hard to get back into gameplay. Like just practicing hitting the ball, I couldn't be there. I think I was in the court maybe 10 minutes. So
Man,
yeah,
that's
it was
that's rough. I had a back injury in high school playing basketball. My L4 vertebrae like got knocked out of place. Just going up for a layup on a fast break, and like I literally tried. I felt like the most powerful jump. I felt like going into it, I had so much adrenaline. I felt like I could have almost dunked the basketball, and I had never dunked before, and I could never previously, but I could usually get pretty close. Like I could dunk a tennis ball, but I felt like this was going to be like the jump. I wasn't going to try to dunk, but I felt like it was the most powerful jump I'd ever done. And it just like my back couldn't support the amount of spring or whatever. And so I just like fell, and my coach was like, Josh, what the heck? And I was like, dude, I'm legit hurt. Like I didn't just like try to jump off the ground and just fall straight forward. Like I was actually like, so we went and did physical therapy, but I feel that like it's a tough road to recover. And I was out a big chunk of that season because of that. So
yeah.
it's very like, what is it? Demotivating. Like, it's easy to make excuses when that kind of stuff happens. Like, oh, I'm hurt. Like,
Mhm.
I'm just gonna, you could even like say, I'm not even gonna go for my goal anymore to like with you for your goal to go for, eventually play in the Olympics. That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
But it'd be easy for you to say, hey, like that goal's over because of what happened, but it's cool that you're still pushing forward, even though the setback that you had. So how does that segue into business, like what you do now? Because I know you do some stuff with like pickleball and racquetball and
Mhm.
that kind of, do you have a business around that?
Yeah, so it's kind of crazy. So like to sum up as far as that, when that injury happened, being wheeled out of the Y, I was assisted into the truck and my wife had pulled it up and I got into the truck and I was so angry. I was like punching the dashboard and I was just like all the emotions were kind of coming out of me. And even in that time frame, I was like, I kind of sat back and I took a big deep breath and I told her, I was like, this happened for a reason. Like this had to have happened for a reason. Like I've done that jump a million times. I've played racquetball for 10 years and I've never had an incident. I've never walked out of the Y hurt. Like it just doesn't make sense. And I was like, there is a reason why this happened. And probably like within about 30 days my question was answered and it was due to the fact that I was being pulled in way too many different directions. I had three businesses plus my desire for racquetball, supporting wife with her dreams, going to horse shows and taking care of her animals. Like there was just a lot of different directions being pulled, and tearing my ACL gave me the time back that I needed to put into the things that were important for my future. And it gave us an opportunity to focus more on us, like me and my wife, and even our relationship is better now because we have more time together. And not that it was, sacrificed or anything, but it's nicer. It's more, it feels better now. And everything happens for a reason is what this really comes down to. And just even though something so terrible happened, something so scary, trust the process. That's really what it comes down to. And honestly, without without her, wow, it just I can't tell you about the things that happened with recovery from surgery because I don't want to put that on video. But it takes a special person to really help you through those things. And I mean, we can joke about it, but it would have been really really hard to do alone. And I thank God for her every day. So for this and kind of how this applies to business is over the last year since that happened, I've created three businesses. So I have a pickleball company, and I have two business partners with that, and that just started because of we wanted to bring pickleball where pickleball wasn't, and pickleball is like the fastest growing sport right now. So like everybody's playing it, and if you haven't played it, at least you've heard about it, and it's just like you go out there one time and you are hooked. Like
Yeah,
it's fun. It's a
fun.
magnetizing sport.
And it's easier than tennis. So it's like, it's easy for like the terrible athletes and stuff too.
Exactly, exactly. So it's so crazy like to think like how fast it's growing and what it's doing. So we started at the Ocala downtown market and we threw an event and brought pickleball to the downtown market because I had a covering and it was just like a cool vibe that it was like downtown. And we quickly outgrew that, and now we formed a partnership with a facility that has six pickleball courts on beautiful, beautiful ground, wonderful view. They got a big tiki bar that's right next to it. They got live music all the time. So like we come there and we bring the people, and then the vibe is just there. They're new, so they just added the pickleball part. So it's like super cool that we're able to help and bring that dynamic into it. So like it's super cool to be able to say that we can be a part of this growth. So yeah, so pickleball is great. Love it. It's so much fun. And that's kind of what happened with that business. And we're handling like part of our partnership in order to bring pickleball there and more people and whatnot. We are handling their sponsorships. So like we're going to bring banner sponsors and all that fun stuff in there and then manage them over time and make sure that their spots are always filled. So that's kind of our piece to it. And then aside from bringing people and just creating a really fun event. So that's pickleball. So then I met you and on TikTok, I watched one of your videos and it was just like, digital marketing, it's really not that hard. Just find people on Google that don't have websites, call them, sell them a website and sell them software. Like it's simple. So
I make it a little bit more clickbaity than it actually,
yeah,
it makes it sound easier than it is, but it
I
is,
mean,
it is pretty a good business model for sure. So,
yes. Have you seen the movie Bleed for this with Miles Teller?
um,
It was
it
back in
sounds really
2000.
familiar. I know Miles Teller for sure from like, from
Top
Maverick
Gun.
and stuff like
Yep.
that. But yeah, I don't know if I've seen that one.
So it's really funny. There was a quote. I'm telling you when I say this, I'm gonna put it on the wall. And I heard it then, like back when I saw the movie originally, and I just watched it again the other night. And at the end of the movie, like watch it, it's really good. He is being interviewed by a reporter after he got his championship, and one of the questions was, "What is one of the lies they told you?" And his response was, "It's not that simple." And she's like, "What's not that simple?" And she's like, "No, or he said, that's the lie. It really is that simple." And it's true when it comes to this. It is that simple. Like HighLevel, yes, it is a complicated service. There's a lot of different features and you have to know it. But once you know it, it is that simple. Like you're selling a product that is going to help a business. As long as you can understand how to communicate with how your customer needs to communicate with, then you can explain it in a way that makes sense to them and be like, hey, these are the features that you're going to use. I explain it like, this is where you're going to live. This stuff down here, I'll help you out with. But this is where you're going to live. Like how you keep in communication with your customers, how you book calendar invites, um, how you want to manage updates and your automations. Like it's really simple processes. And as long as you have a way that you can explain it to the customer in an effective manner in the way that they need to hear it, it is simple. Like it's very simple. At the end of the day, it just comes down to the effort that you want to put into it. You have to make calls. You have to make connections. That is a part of the job. That is a part of any entrepreneurial, venture that you want to go into. It can be simple. It's just how much you want to put into it, how much you believe in the product that you are selling. So that statement like really resonated with me, and like anything can be simple. You are the one that makes it as hard as what it is or isn't. And that's what it is.
I have a great example of that. So when I first started, I would try to I created this like big sales presentation on, Canva with all these different slides to like show the services that I was offering and how the software worked. And I would try to like show them all the features of the software and explain it to them. And I could just tell it would go way over people's heads after I would explain everything. And so now I've transitioned into doing more of just like a conversation on the sales calls. Like at the very beginning, I'll just say, hey, is it cool if I ask you some questions about your business so I can get to learn and get to know more about you so we can see if we can help. And literally the whole call is just a conversation after that. It's like, how are you guys getting your leads? Cool, awesome. What's your goal for your business this year? Like, are you guys trying to get more online traffic? And I'm just asking these like strategic questions, which ends up playing in my favor because now this person doesn't see me as just like that hard closer that's trying to like close them the whole time and like show them all this stuff that they don't really care about. Now I know exactly what they need because they've told me after all these questions I've asked them, and I can just show them what they want. And anyway, it really is simple. Like, and that was I think a good example for me, like back when I started out versus what I'm doing now. I'm able to close a lot more people because it's just a very simple, natural conversation versus a pre-scripted, memorized presentation that took me way more effort than what I do now. I should have just started with the way that I'm doing it now. But anyway, I like that quote. That's awesome. I'll have to watch that movie. It's called I Bleed for You.
Bleed for this.
Oh, Bleed for This. Okay. I'll check it out.
Mhm. Yeah, it is. It is good. I take inspiration from a lot of different, motivating sources. So like, have you ever heard of the movie Glengarry Glen Ross?
Dang, you're stumping me. I haven't heard of
It's
that
an
one
old
either.
movie. I would be surprised if you knew about it, but you probably know the reference "Coffees for Closers," right?
Not even like
Bro.
I'm not very cultured, you can tell.
Uh, okay, okay. The last one, ABCs, always be closing.
Yes, I have heard of that.
Okay, good. All right, that's from Glengarry Glen Ross.
I hope you guys are enjoying the video so far, getting some amazing knowledge from Kyle. If you're looking to start a SaaS agency with GoHighLevel, just like Kyle has, just like I have, you can get my website SAS Masterclass down below. It covers step-by-step how to build websites for local businesses and how to give them software along with the website, charging them a setup fee and a monthly subscription. And if you haven't signed up for GoHighLevel yet, you can get a 30-day free trial down below this video with my affiliate link. And if you sign up with that link, I'll jump on 2 free Zoom calls with you every single week to help you build your agency. And I have $10,000 worth of resources that I'll give you absolutely free just for signing up on the 30-day free trial. And if you already use HighLevel but you want to upgrade to the $297 or the $497 plan, you can also do that with my link down below and get the exact same free offer. Sorry for the interruption. Hope you guys enjoy the rest of the video.
So,
Okay.
coffees for closers, ABCs. What is your ABCs? Always be closing. So like those are like big pivotal things. And I just moved into a new office, so I have a full wall over here. So I'm going to do a mural on the wall, and one side is going to be Alec Baldwin's face cut in three, and it's going to say "Coffees for Closers." And on the left, it's going to be another painting of Alec Baldwin pointing at the what looks like a chalkboard of what he wrote. Always be closing on it, and just like at the end of the day, like when you're talking to your customers, you are trying to find that information, like when you're asking your questions, and even though we're being conversative and we're learning and all that fun stuff, it's all power, like it's all tools in our toolbox at any point in time, because we know how to organize things in our head of how to convey them because you're learning how the customer likes to communicate. And once you learn how the customer likes to communicate, you just communicate in that way back to them. You speak their language. So in order to figure out their language, you got to ask them questions. You got to get them talking. So it's an 80-20. 80% of that conversation needs to be from the customer.
Tied into what you're saying about just like talking and mirroring your customer and like using their tone of voice and that kind of thing, because you did hit on that, right?
Yep. Well, not
Um,
tone of voice, but deflection. Yes. I got that from you.
Inflection and that kind of
Yep.
thing. It's funny because now with the AI chatbots and Go High Level, as part of the instructions, I will tell the chatbot to mirror the way that the lead is talking to you. And so it's like that one training sentence to put into the training for the chatbot has like changed it dramatically, and it's way better. Just that one sentence. I never thought of that. I'm like, one day I think I saw a video of somebody else who did it, and I was like, dang, that's a genius idea. Because now the bot won't just like stick to like these long texts and these long sermons. It'll literally mirror the message that it just received, and it'll talk in the same tone of voice, which is like the ultimate sales hack. Is like just mirror the person you're talking to and their tone of voice and their excitement, or if they're stern, be stern with them. Like that's like a huge rule of sales that everybody knows. But you can train the chatbots to do it too, and it's way more effective, I've noticed. So anyway,
Agree
that was,
100%.
that was cool. Glad you mentioned that. um but yeah, I guess what explain a little bit more about Brobot, how you've been able to grow that to what you've grown it to, and the offer maybe that you offer to clients, and how you've been able to get your clients, and maybe kind of how you've scaled and where you're at now in the business.
So, Brobot is kind of funny. I mean, everything about this business is AI. Like, I mean, there's so much technology in today's world, and it's like, how could you not be an effective digital marketer without AI? Like, I don't even know how they did it back before AI, like before a year ago. Like, it's so crazy, like how much it helps you and what it can do for your business. So, I was actually talking to a customer yesterday, and it's like now this is a new thing that you need to worry about when you're talking to a digital marketer. Are you are you talking to someone that has knowledge and experience in the field and knows how to communicate and knows what they're talking about? Or are you talking to somebody that just read a script off of ChatGPT or just read a few articles and be like, hey, I'm a professional now? Like, no, ChatGPT is your AI that you got that from is the professional. So it's
Yep.
like you gotta go through the muck, to get your boots dirty, trip over yourself, fail, learn, change it up and move on and create that effective offer. Well, for me, when I got started, I was still working a full-time job. I mean, I still am. I've been with HighLevel for I think a year and a couple of months now. So, and it's crazy to think like, and I've been 497 since the beginning. Like, I thought like when you and I were talking, and this is a major prop to you as an affiliate. Like, a lot of affiliates, like you get into that 30-day promotion, they don't talk to you until you pay. And you like, I think we talked. Oh gosh, we must have talked almost every day for like 20 days straight or so. And then it turned into like every other day. And then it was like once a week. And like, dude, you were like my best friend for a hot minute. Like, I just like Jessica's like my wife, she's like, how's Jasper doing today? And I was like, I think he's doing good. All we talked about was HighLevel. I would assume he's doing good. So like, major props to you for how you run, your business with your affiliates. And whatnot. I will never ever ever say a bad word about you because there's nothing bad to say. Like, you've just been awesome. So I know I say that a lot, but like, people,
Appreciate that.
yeah, people in our space and whatnot, they don't get enough kudos. And you do a great job. So I wouldn't be here where I am in this without your support. That's 1,000% true. So to say that, so I didn't get my first sale. So I didn't get my first sale until 8 months. I had HighLevel for 8 months before I got my first sale. And at the end of the day, I looked at it like, okay, if you start a business, there's going to be an investment cost. And at the end of the day, if my investment is $497 a month, for the foreseeable future, for me to learn and get my boots wet and trip and fail, build websites and try to create social media stuff, or just learn the software, learn the automations, there is a lot to learn in HighLevel. And it just depends on how much of a sponge you want to be. Like, I want to be the guy. I want to be you. When someone asks me how to fix things or how to do things, I need to have that answer, and I don't like not knowing the answer. So I didn't want to offer anything to customer or get anybody on the software until I could answer, at least 90% of the questions. Like, I need to have a good foothold on this. I need to be able to tell a customer how to do something without actually being in the software at the same time. So, and that was my goal. And now I'm pretty on point when it comes to that. And even with the changes
You're
to like,
there.
Yeah, yeah.
You're there for sure. Like you come to me with stuff that like I didn't know how to do. Like you're telling me like and have these things that you figured out that I'm like, dang, I've never done that before. So you're definitely there for sure. And you've been there for a while, I'd say.
Yeah. Well, thank you. I just you just got to know it, and I've done this with every business I have, but only this one's actually succeeded. And maybe that was the problem. I don't know, but this is tech, so it's different, I guess. But just know your product. That way, you have confidence. And there's you don't have to be good at sales to be good at sales. I know that sounds dumb. Knowledge is power, and if you know the knowledge and you have confidence in your knowledge, then you'll be able to speak to it with confidence. And sales is confidence. If you don't have confidence, you can't sell. That's just what it comes down to. So I wanted to know everything. I needed my knowledge to be my power. That is my superpower. I know a lot of things about Go High Level now.
Dude, I love that. That's a great quote there because if you know nothing about your product, you can have all the sales skills in the world, but it's not going to do anything for you. But if you have no sales skills, but you have all the product knowledge and know everything, and I feel like that's more effective than somebody with all these like really good sales skills and tactics. If you can just, show somebody what the offer is, that's definitely more important.
100%. So yeah, so I got my first sale about 8 months in, and it was a $97 client, and it might have been very needy, and learned some more stuff like about onboarding. I at that point after I got his credit card, got him as a paying customer, I never even thought about the onboarding process. Never. I
Wow.
didn't even think about that. I was so excited about learning the software, being able to talk about it, and be able to sell it with confidence that I didn't even have an onboarding process. So you trip, you fall, you fail, you recover.
It's all right.
So yeah, so right around that time, calling Jasper every day. Jasper, talk to me about what's going on with this onboarding process. I need to develop something. So yeah, so now I have an onboard process and understand kind of how to do that stuff. But essentially, as far as like how I'm getting my customers, and I don't have the same story as the other gentleman. I forget his name, but the last gentleman that did it, he had like 30 sub accounts,
Oh,
and
James, yeah.
James, which is amazing. Like, wow, that is crazy. Um, mine has just been mainly connection based. So like as being in sales and knowing a lot of people in my area, it's mostly been on connections. Like, hey, Kyle, what are you doing now? What's the next thing? So being able to have those opportunities and whatnot, be able to speak to those people with confidence, because and this really goes into the confidence and knowledge and wanting to know everything. Like it's great to have your confidence to speak to a stranger, but it to have your confidence to speak to a friend or to speak to a colleague about this, because they'll call you on your crap. Like you can't just like fake it till you make it with them. You got to know it, because then once they do it or get it, and it's not what you say it is, or it doesn't work like you say it is, friendships have ended for less. So I was just like, that was another reason. So my friends, and business counterparts have believed in me enough to try out the software and use it, and those are some of my still, faithful customers. And it's so nice, like being able to utilize the software in a way that you can grow and offer more things. So like outside of just the software, now I do social media and content creation and ad management. And like at the end of the day, I have 8 clients, and I'm like right around the 8K mark for my monthly recurring revenue.
That's
And
awesome.
yeah, so like it's there isn't like a solid offer. Like eventually, like once I quit the company I work for right now, I want to go more into the get the sub accounts, because honestly, I would love to get a SaaS Entrepreneur Award. I would love that. Like get that big old plaque on the wall to get 100 sub accounts. Like I don't care if I have to sell them for 97. I will, because I want that plaque. So like, but I mean, also I want to sell it for the value and each customer that goes on there. So I want to use the website tip where you create a website for a niche and then you sell it and then provide a software with it. So like there's a lot of value in that. And then on top of that, you can go into be like, hey, we do marketing services as well. We do content creation and reels and ad management and all this other stuff. So I can turn into a full-blown marketing agency instead of just offering the software. But the huge thing is having the software. Like if you don't have the software, like in my opinion, like what are you really offering somebody? And even digital marketers out there now that are just creating websites, dude, like why wouldn't you want to provide a service for the back end to create residual? Because once they pay for that $5,000 website, whether you're on monthly or whether they just pay 5 grand one time, like dang it, now I got to work for another 5 grand next month. There's nothing else coming in. Like it was, dude, first sale was I take that back. So my first sale was for Brobot was that, but my first sale of this business venture, because Brobot made IMAPS Pro, and I was like, all right, well, I'm going to start a business where I can just manage Apple business listings because I found opportunity there. That was actually my first sale. like just with the software helping me out, but that wasn't the software. So like just selling my services in order to get that done, that residual, my first customer was $10 a month.
Wow. That's
So
all
like
right.
I got my $10. I got my Stripe notification that I got like $8 or $9 and whatever cents or whatever. And I turned to Jessica and I was like, babe, look at this. That's called Wi-Fi money right there. So
Yeah.
and it was like $9. So like it was crazy to think that. And then a few weeks later, that's when I got my subscription, my Brobot sale. And I'm just like, it's just there's nothing like a feeling of creating something and only having to sell it once and then it pays up continuously. Like coming from a sales background where I've sold everything underneath the sun and only got a commission one time on something to now I sell it one time and I get a residual and I just have to maintain a relationship. What? Come on now. How easy can that be? It is that simple. So that's just what it comes down to. So but yeah, that's where I am now. So I will be putting my 2 weeks notice at the end of this month.
Let's
I am
go. Congrats. That's awesome.
it's really surreal to say that out loud. And I'm gonna put this on video and I hope you put it into the edit. Jasper, I love you, bro. Like without you, I wouldn't this just wouldn't be happening. Like this has changed my life. And I appreciate meeting you, man. Like keep doing what you're doing.
Well, I love you too, man. You've helped me out as an affiliate, and you know that. You always make the joke, hey, I'm buying Jasper steak dinners every month with the affiliate commission he's getting. But you literally like were one of my very first affiliates. I think you were like one of the first 5 or 10 or whatever. So
I didn't
it's
know
really
that.
cool. Yeah, you were. So it's cool to see like how much you've grown and for those first 8 months, I know you didn't get any sales, but like you were still using HighLevel. I remember you were doing it for like your pickleball stuff and like you were building your website for that. And yeah, dude, it's so cool. Like once you started hitting it hard at the 8 month mark, like you've grown really fast. So
Yeah.
you've been crushing it. And tell us a little bit about the iMaps Pro stuff because that goes along
Uh,
with Robot. And I thought you
yes.
were explaining that to me the other day. It's pretty cool. So anybody watching this, listen up for this part.
Yes, please. So with IMAPS Pro, out there, a lot of people do like the Google My Business stuff. Like Google's pretty prevalent when you do the local service ads and just getting your profile looking nice on Google because Google is the biggest search engine. So Apple put out something, oh goodness, maybe almost a year ago that you can customize your Apple business listing. So like if you have a business, chances are through your Dun and Bradstreet, it automatically goes to Apple and they'll just do like a generic listing. Just like how we're used to anybody with an iPhone, you go into it, just says a business name, address, and a few different things. Well, now they're giving businesses an opportunity to add branding. So it looks more like a social profile. So you can do, let me get my brochure. I don't know if it's going to be able to work because of the green screen back here. Oh, cool, it does. Oh, kind of.
There we
So
go. Thanks.
this is what the listing would look like. So you can actually put your logo up here. I might be pointing at the wrong thing here. But anyway, so you got a banner picture back here. You can do your logo and fully customize your listing. So it's really cool. Actually, this might be bigger on this one. There we go. So you have your logo over here, banner up at the top. You have featured photos right here, and then you can do what's called a showcase. So with a showcase, and this is the second most awesome thing about this customization that you can do. The showcase, you can put it for 1 day, 1 week, or 30 days. So it showcases like a featured product. So this will be good for any gyms, anybody that has customer facing coffee companies like Dunkin' or whatever. Anybody has a connection to Dunkin', let your boy know. I will help you out. Like you gonna get some love. Help me out. Anybody that has a connection to these companies, like it's so crazy because even the big brands, there's very few. So like Dutch Bros. Dutch Bros is one of the few coffee companies, Dutch Bros and Caribou. Those are the only two that I have found because I've niched down. Like I actually have a meeting with a coffee company today that has almost 100 locations. So today's pivotal. But like it's just super crazy like that you have these options to be able to customize like this. So fully customize your Apple business profile. You can customize the tiles up top and really showcase your business in a way that is not done before on Apple. And you got to think about too. Um, shoot, what is the statistic? There's 1.5, I believe, million people in the United States, just the United States, that have an iPhone. There's even more that have Apple products. So like some people have Android phones, but they have an iPad,
Yep.
or they have a MacBook. So when you use native applications like on MacBook or iPad, you're going to use Apple Maps. So when you use Apple Maps, there's still people outside of the threshold of the 1.5 million people in America that have iPhones. It comes down to like one in every three people or something like that have an iPhone. So it's crazy. But like, if you were to ask me before I started IMAPS, when I can't say this now because I represent this company, but what like on my phone, I have Google Maps and I have Apple Maps literally right next to each other. I use Apple Maps for my navigation, and I use Google Maps for anytime I search a business, search a restaurant, want to know what's happening, because Google has always been the leader in giving the most information possible. Now the coins on, or it's on the other side now, because Apple has done this in a way that you can customize your listing, and that is a service that I offer. I will go in and customize your listing with that way you don't have to do it, your business doesn't have to do it, and I will manage that listing that way, make sure that it's SEO friendly. That's a big word for us. So it'll be SEO friendly with any pictures. You can put a bio in there, so you can actually tell your customer what what you do and what you offer. You can put all the pictures, and the cat's meow about this is reviews. I hate Yelp. Yelp
Mm.
can so Apple has come out with a new rating system.
I always try clicking on like, and if I'm on Apple Maps, I'll try like clicking on the Yelp reviews, and then it makes me like, it's like you're not logged in, and then I have to like
Yep,
log in. I don't even have a Yelp login, and I'm like, I can never see the Yelp reviews. So
yep. So Yelp is consumer run, and Yelp was the initial thing that Dun and Bradstreet and Apple connected with. That way they can have reviews on their software or under the map section. So now, just because Yelp has it's such a bad stigma, and almost every business has a bad review on Yelp. It's so crazy. There's very few that have good reviews. Even good businesses have bad reviews on Yelp, because more of the bad experiences want to talk about it than people with good experiences, and that's just the nature of any kind of reviews. Hey, and that's why HighLevel has this little thing called review software. Plug. So, um, so with this, Apple's created a new reviewing system, and it's a thumbs up, thumbs down, and then you go off of that rating system. You can't write, and it's just that. So like at the top of the listing, so like it'll be right here next to the open, and then you see the rating, and then you can see like what the rating is, like 86% like it, and that's all it is. So, and then when you do this listing style and add all your customizations, guess what happens to that Yelp? It gets pushed down the page.
hmm.
And if anybody is like me, when I search something, especially on maps, I don't scroll. I look at the information provided right there, and there's no need to scroll. I'm either trying to call the business, I'm trying to go to their website, or I'm trying to navigate there. So if at the top of the screen, I can see what the business does, how far they are away from me, pictures of what's happening in a showcase, all this is on one screen. So they're going to have their featured product. And if this isn't here, then the bio will just show up right here. But just like all the most useful information is going to be right there on the page without having to scroll. And then bye bye Yelp. Never push that sucker down. So this is just great for any business that is customer facing, that needs help with their brand and image. And you don't have to pay anything extra like to Apple or anything like that. There's no extra expenditure or marketing costs or anything like that. My company, we charge $64 to customize the listing, and it's a $17 a month management
That's
for. Yeah. For you affiliates out there that want to get involved with this, to recommend IMAPS Pro, contact me. I do have an affiliate commission for anybody that refers out. So there is a potential for you to get paid on this and get a piece of that IMAPS Pro pie. So let
is
me know.
there like a website or something you have that I can link down below this video?
Yes, imapspro.com.
All right, I'll link it down below. You guys can check it out, but that's awesome. Can they be, so just reach out to you to become an affiliate or through your website or something like that?
Yeah, just reach out just to get started. There's a note section in the form that's on there. It's also to GoHighLevel website, so it'll come to me inside my IMAP sub account.
Nice.
So just go in there, and then in the notes section, just say you're interested in being an affiliate, and then I'll call and we'll get that set up.
Dude, that's money. That's awesome. That's something I had no idea about the Apple Maps profiles. I thought it was just like Google Maps profiles that would transfer over, but they're like completely different. So
Yep.
that's a huge, like you said, there's how many Apple users in the US? Only 1.5
It's like
million?
it's like 1.5 million. I feel like
There's got to
I'm
be
wrong.
way more than that. There's 350 million people in the US, right? Or is it 250? There's got to be like 100 million Apple users.
Well, maybe I just went off the phone. Mini Apple.
Oh, there's more than 1.5 million iPhones out there in the US. There's got to be like close to 100 million, I bet. So anyway,
Oh, it's a B, not an M. It's a B.
a
There's an
billion
estimated 1.46 billion iPhone users. My bad. My bad. I did.
worldwide. That makes more
Yeah.
sense.
Yes.
Definitely.
So 20 represents the market. 21.67% of the world's smartphone population uses iPhone. That's just
There we
one
go.
product. There's so many
Yep.
different Android phones out there, so of course that's going to bring down the number. But like iPhone, like just iPhone, 21% adds a huge piece of the pie. So
Yeah, I've had like five friends of mine at least that were like sold on Android. They're like, we love our Android phones, and they've recently switched over to iPhone. And so It's gonna get even bigger, the market share of people having Apple products. So I think that this is a
100%.
great way to go. But anyway, I think that should be every. I guess one question I did have: what's your main offer for Brobot? Or you said it's kind of different for all your different customers. Like, are you giving them websites, automations? Like, what's the main offer that you can see across all your clients?
So depending on what they're looking to get, so like I start with 197. 197 is what I stay with. I feel that, 97 is fair, but at the same time, like a lot of customers, and maybe it's just because I don't know how to segment out the customer service part yet, like how much I'm involved, and I've told customers in the past that are on the $97 plan. I'm like, listen, so if you want the Netflix subscription of this service, $97. If you want Netflix with priority support, 24/7 call, text, whatever, call me, text me, beat me if you want to reach me. Then that's the 197. And I charge a setup fee, and like an initial, I call it the launch package. That way it's not fee and setup fee isn't in there. So I have a Brobot launch package, that's 199, and that covers 3 45-minute onboarding calls. Plus, I have a really awesome video training setup that I got from old Jasper. So that's involved in
Oh,
there too. But yeah, so that's involved in there too. So I always tell them to go watch the videos, and if you have any questions, let me know. But then we do our stuff through the 3 45-minute calls. Now the next question you should ask me is how many people have actually stuck to that? Zero. So, because I don't like once you get somebody, it's like, man, I don't want to lose them. I want to give them the customer service. So, like, I've even had one person like straight up say, "Oh man, I paid for the 97. I feel bad because I'm using more than what I paid for." And it's like, nah, don't worry about it, man. Like, thanks for being a customer. So like, it's just like, and it's true. Like, I do appreciate it, but it's like trying to find a way to professionally communicate what your time is worth. So like now, I just started the 197, and I don't even talk about the Netflix subscription anymore. It's like they're gonna get customer service, they'll get me, and if they don't think 197 is a fair price and they want to go lower, then they're not the customer that really I need to have under me anyway. And I say that in the most respectful way possible. So I started the 197, and then I offer like marketing services on top of that, which it depends on what they want, like what level of content creation, all that fun stuff. But there's also like I do offer consultant fees. So like I had a lady yesterday that knew nothing about AI, but she's starting like a podcast and doing all this different stuff. And like a lot of the stuff she didn't know. Super awesome lady. I love her business. I love what she's doing. And I want to help out as much as possible. And I'm giving, a lot of free content away. So like it'll just depend on, and that'll kind of play into the price and whatnot. But in order to get myself a little bit more revenue, is it's 197 for one user, and then I say it's $15 per every license. So a license is another employee. Now, between me and you and the other affiliates and anybody else that's going to watch this, I don't put a limit on the users or the employees just because if I go in the back end and they need to add like a mock one for like a ghost account or whatever, I don't have to go in there and add it. I just tell them to go do it. Most of my people have been pretty honest about that and pretty transparent with like everything that happens in their account. So but yeah, that's another like little revenue boost. Like think about, okay, well it's 197 for your software. And if you have, 10 employees, that's another $150. Well, 10 employees plus that person. So 11 people total, that's another $150 on top of the 197. And they understand it. Like I've never had a person say, oh, that's not fair. That doesn't make sense. Because any CRM that you go with, which is like for big companies like Salesforce,
HubSpot.
HubSpot, Artemis, Outreach, like all these other different ones, they're going to charge you for like whatever your plan is, and they're going to charge you per license. And those are not $15. Those are $35, $85, $125. Like, what are you doing? So like, and they know this, like, and if they don't know it, I let them know. And like, it's $15, like $15, but that pays for me to train your employee for you. Like, it's not a lot. Like, and once you get into it, like I've had people that are like, no, I'm good. I'll just do one. And then they want to manage it that way. And then they're like, oh, well, this is kind of complicated. I need, so and so to have this login. And I was like, okay, well, do you understand everything we just did? That's what the $15 covers. It doesn't sound like that much now, right? And they're like, yeah, you're right. And I was like, all right, cool. How many employees do you want to add to this? And it's just like an easy segue at that point. But just like, again, build the value, have confidence, and value yourself and your time.
Hey man, that's awesome. Well, I think that's everything. Really, really impressive what you've done, especially having a full-time job this whole time and doing this on the side. Like that's another level. Like a lot of people starting out in this, they are just doing this full time. And it's really cool what you've done with just having a full-time job plus scaling your agency to this and then with what you're going to do in the future once you quit your job. So I'm excited to
Yes.
see what you do. But anyway, I appreciate your time, Kyle. And I'll drop down the links to Brobot, iMaps Pro, any of the other stuff we've talked about. And yeah, I appreciate your time and love
Thank
you,
you.
brother.
Hey, love you too, man. Thank you. Keep hustling, keep doing it. And hey, we're all part of this journey together, and we're all going to the moon.
Let's do it. Heck yeah. Awesome. We'll see you.
See you, man.
As you can see from this video, Kyle is the man, so make sure to check out his links down below this video. And if you're looking to start a SaaS agency with GoHighLevel, you can get my website, SAS Masterclass, down below. It's completely free. It goes in-depth, step-by-step on how to build websites and also give your clients software along with the websites, charging them a setup fee and a monthly subscription so you can make passive income. And if you haven't started using HighLevel yet, you can get a 30-day free trial down below this video with my affiliate link. If you sign up with that link, I'll jump on 2 free Zoom calls with you a week, help answer questions you have, help you grow your agency, and I'll give you $10,000 worth of free resources that I've been working on over the past few years. And if you already use HighLevel but you want to upgrade to the $297 or the $497 plan, you can also do that with my link down below and get the exact same free offer. Appreciate y'all sticking through to the end of this video. I love y'all, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.